Hello, this is a review of the KitchenAid 2-slot toaster. My wife and I bought this toaster as a more energy efficient way to heat things like toast and English muffins than using a toaster oven. Because compared to a toaster oven, you have to heat all the air around it first before you heat the actual item because of the proximity of the air versus the heating element. So with these, your bread or English muffin is going to be much closer to the heating elements and heat much faster. If you read things like Consumer Reports, they'll tell you, of course, that a toaster oven is going to take a lot longer to toast something than this. Obviously, there's different purposes for each, like you can't put a French bread pizza in here. So we do like the look of the toaster. It seems to fit other appliances pretty well for us, so we're happy with that. But the number one thing that we wanted in a toaster, that we were sick and tired of, was toast, and especially English muffins and Pop-Tarts, falling through. With our previous toaster, we utterly hated the fact that the bottom lever, this lever down here, you see the way that it reaches around and hangs onto things that's excellent in this toaster? That in our previous toaster, they always had this little, there was this little zigzag bar that went back and forth, and it didn't even go all the way to the edges. It would kind of round around, and if I put a Pop-Tart in here and it started to bend a little bit because it got warm, they'd fall through, and then you'd spend a few minutes trying to fish it out of your toaster and often end up getting it broken down in the bottom. It was so completely annoying to have things fall through. So my wife and I set out to go find a toaster that would actually hold things in here that wouldn't let things fall through to the bottom. And that's where this toaster uniquely percolated to the top. I think we only found one other design that was remotely close that had a wider zigzag pattern. But compared to some models, I don't know why they almost have this tiny little bar that just goes across. And some of them would say that it would be fine because when you push it down, right, we close the bars, which I'll talk about in a minute. But on the other toasters, what happens is they release. So even though it might be okay while it's closed on another toaster with that zigzag pattern, when you release, there's this moment of time right now that while it raises up, that is exactly when the other things would start slipping and falling through, and this bar would basically raise right up, leaving the other items sitting right next to it, stuck at their original position and getting ground into by the bars. So that's where this toaster we absolutely love for its ability to be able to hang on to things and not let things slip through. If you look closely, these tines pretty much extend the full width of from here to here. And I even tested with a piece of paper. I tried to see if I could stuff a piece of paper past it in its open state, and you have to work at it. I mean, you could just barely get a piece of paper against it on one of the sides. This side here is perfect. It goes from the exact edge of here to the exact edge of here. This one leaves ever so slightly on one side, but I mean, it's as perfect as it can be in terms of not letting things fall through. So the other thing we liked about it is compared to other models at the store that we had, we went into all the stores and we pushed down the levers. And when we did that, these center fairly well. I mean, really well compared to a lot of the other ones. So what we wanted was to hold the toast dead center, or English muffin dead center, for more even toasting on both sides. And this does a good job. And notice how nice and tight that they go. So you'll be able to hold it. And it's not just a teepee. These levers are all the way top to bottom. Whereas in some of the other toasters, they only seem to push the top just enough. Now this one, although it's still probably just rotating towards the top, seems to do a much better job of it. The next thing about the toaster was that being able to get at your items. Not every toaster raises the toast or English muffins to the same height. Now, this toaster isn't as perfect as we had thought, given the marketing claims on the box saying that it gives such height leverage. So if you look, the lever does go quite a ways. And let's go look at when it raises up. See if I can zoom in here. So it comes up quite a ways, but the funny thing is it's like an L shape. It's like it goes down and then over, so it's not like it literally raises it to the roof. And the spring lever is raises it quite a bit, but you can always push it just a little bit more, as we can see here, which actually helps, enough. And this is again better than some of the other toasters. However, you'll still find that an English muffin may not exactly fit out of it as well. So for that solution, that's what a little tongs is for some reason the small English muffin just isn't enough. So you just go in and you can use a small pair of tongs. My wife looked around for a nice small pair that was a bit better than to fit the exact size, because you don't want to go in with a fork. I mean, you're just going to be digging at it, and you don't want to do that. And of course, tongs like this are going to be better than using something metal that might dig in, or something that's just overly way too big for the task. So this we bought on Amazon as well, and is great for it. Now, we've used this toaster for about 2.5 months with a pretty good amount of usage. Haven't had any problems with it yet. Some other people have mentioned some problems that they didn't like that the bar didn't go to the roof, just like we noticed here. But this is still, compared to all the other toasters we saw on the market, this seemed to be the best for us, and nothing came close to the being able to stop things from falling through that this one does here. So let's just take a quick look at it. I mean, we run it down. You get slide control here. You can control what it goes to, and it starts flashing and works its way down. There's a bagel button, and of course, once it's done, it'll raise up. So my wife primarily uses this for English muffins, which is a way more efficient way to do it than this toaster oven. But for bagels, honestly, we use really big bagels. Rather than letting the cheese that might be on the side of some of the bagels you buy at the store, we still throw those in here, and they take longer to toast. We use this for toast and English muffins and Pop-Tarts, and it works great for us for this reasons. So thank you for listening to the review.